Hello there, people of the world, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. If you haven't noticed already, this is not my normal background. I currently am in Miami, Florida. I have been traveling for the past like 4 or 5 days with my dad and my uncle on this baseball trip. They're trying to see all 30 baseball stadiums before they die, I think. It's like part of their bucket list, and I decided to come along for the ride and sleep in the rollaway bed and eat the scraps and leftover chocolate bars that they leave behind. Guys, the biggest thing that I've been learning this week during the whole being out of my normal spot is the importance of daydreaming. I had a friend in town last week visiting in Nashville, and she is someone that is incredibly amazing at just being still and just being where you are and kind of living in this place where you're in this moment and you want to get everything possible that you can from this moment. And that's something that you can't do when you're on your phone, and that's something that you can't do when your mind's racing in a million directions or you want to get to the next spot or the next spot. That's something where you just have to sit and you just have to kind of wonder. There was this moment when she was in town that we stood there in this backyard and we just stared at fireflies for a good amount of time before the mosquitoes started to eat us alive. We just sat and we stared. It was the most peaceful thing in the world, you guys, because there was a chunk where we weren't even really talking. We were just there. We were just experiencing that moment together out of its entirety, out of every little bit that could come from it, just sitting there, and all of a sudden these little bursts of like glitter started popping up everywhere. And I didn't grow up in the South. I didn't grow up with fireflies. I've been hearing everybody saying how, oh, that's normal. We grew up with fireflies, so that just means that summer's here. But for me, I didn't see them for the first time until last year when I moved to Nashville, and it's kind of just like the most magical thing ever. This friend has been making this intention about doing that during her trip to Nashville, and she even sent me a message about how it started raining outside and she just sat there in the rain and just took it all in. It's really incredible, and so I've been trying to make it a bigger point to do that. And I was reading this article in Darling magazine, which if you haven't read Darling magazine, any of their blogs or actual print, you're doing something wrong, because they're amazing. I wish I'd been reading them since day one that they've been writing, because I just started recently. There was this article about the importance of daydreaming. It started off talking about this guy that would walk down to the pier every single day, and he would sit there for an hour, and then he would pack up and go back home, and this was like a routine every single day. But he never caught anything, and everyone was wondering, why does he keep doing this? He never catches anything. And so finally somebody asked him, and he says that he doesn't even put bait on the hook. It just gives him an hour to just sit, and the fish don't bother him and the people don't bother him, and he just gets to sit and wonder. And it turned out that that man was Thomas Edison. Thomas frickin' Edison, you guys. There's a power in just being. There's a power in being still, a power in daydreaming. It's when like the creativity in our mind starts to move. Instead of overbusying ourselves and moving from one task to the next task, which is what I am so guilty of, sometimes we could just sit and be. Like the article was saying how sometimes the most productive thing you could do with your day is to daydream. You have no idea what's gonna happen in your mind. Like our mind is so powerful. There's power in silence, and there's power in being in the reflective mood to where curiosity floods in, creativity floods in. Our minds are the birth of ideas and creations and moving forward. So I want to challenge you guys, and you might not like this, you might feel lazy, you might feel unproductive or like you're wasting your time, but I want to challenge you guys to take an hour. And if you can't take an hour, take half an hour. If you can't take half an hour, take 10 minutes. Just take a chunk of time out of your day and intentionally don't have your phone. Don't have a busy task in front of you. I want you to just sit and be. Don't even read or write. Just sit there, and whether you're in a coffee shop, people watching, drinking a cup of coffee, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I can't remember the last time I went to a coffee shop without my phone or without a person or a computer or something that I had to get done. I don't know if I've ever just sat there and drank my coffee and was just there and enjoying the moment of what it's like to sit in a coffee shop. So I'm probably gonna do that because it incorporates all of my favorite things. But I wanna challenge you guys to take that time and to just be, and to just stare, just think. Set a timer and just be, because it could very well potentially lead to a lot of things. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this messy hotel room backdrop that I'm currently in. I'm flying back home to Nashville tonight, so the next video will be in the normal spot. If you want to be a part of publishing my book with me, then that would mean the absolute whole world. I've raised enough money for editing and web design, and now I just need the money for publishing. So if you want to give to that, then there's a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for your generosity. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I literally could not do this without you. Literally could not. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you want to get involved further with what I want to do, then there's a link to my Patreon page in the description box below as well. That's a place where you can preview my book and do lots of things, and there's planes flying back and forth out the window. It's really cool. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys next week. I love you, and I'll see you next time.